It all started out with one failed NBA superstar, me, sitting at our kitchen table in 2017 saying to Mrs. Nacho, she was not called that at the time, otherwise known as Mary, what should I call my Facebook group to talk about implants and practice management? Said, I'm a lot of toppings, broker, speaker, dentist. You love nachos. Let's call it dental nachos. Nachos are meant to be shared. Nachos get messy. There's a comedian who says you would fight your grandmother for the last chip on the plate. Very dentist there. So we called it Dental Nachos, February 2017. One member, and I thought maybe we would get up to 1,000 members. We were lucky. Well, yada, yada, for my favorite show, Seinfeld. We are at 50,000 members today. And I'm so proud of you for making this community what it is. ABC to FLA, always be connecting to feel less alone. So on my special day, I am going to use a message from one of my idols, Gary Vee, who talks about the guilt economy. So deliver so much value, give so much of yourselves that when it comes time to ask for a favor, people will do it, because they feel guilty for all of the awesome stuff you have done for them. So if you're out there watching live or on demand, and Dental Nachos has helped you feel less alone, Dental Nachos has helped you survive, thrive, and not cry. Dental Nachos has introduced you to a friend that you text literally every day. And the only reason you met was because of a guy who named himself after an appetizer. That's me. I would love for you to text Supreme to 215-543-6454 to get our best deal on the Dental Nachos Supreme on-demand CE. It's a year of unlimited on-demand CE that will help you build your dentisting core, clinical skills, business skills, verbal skills, how not to cry inside skills. We would love if you purchase this to support us today. And because I know my dentisting people love a deal, you will save $143 if you purchase this using the code 143FB. 143 was Mr. Rogers' favorite number, which stands for I love you. And when I'm stopped on the street wearing this shirt and people say, what is Dental Nachos? I say, that's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. Dentists are really good at being nice to patients and not so good at being nice to each other, because we went to dental school and they made us compete instead of collaborate. So Dental Nachos is like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood for dentists and humans, people who love dentists, work with dentists, married to dentists, know dentists. Dental Nachos is for them. So I'd love on this day of our 50,000th member, if you've gotten free CE, if you've met a friend, if you check the Facebook group between patients when there's a cancellation or you're having a stressful day, if we've supported you, I would love for you to support us by texting Supreme to 215-543-6454 or go right into the comments, because my team is dropping the link and the discount code for you to use right now. And if you're thinking, I don't need CE, I'm not a dentist, no worries, buy it for a friend. You buy the Supreme and want to gift it to a friend, you do that. Our Supreme team will be glad to do that. So text Supreme to 215-543-6454. to get our best deal on the Dental Nachos Supreme today. You're a dental student or a new grad, 2023 grad, you can text new grad to 215-543-6454. So we're at 50,000 members of people supporting each other, a dentisting world where we're sharing more, caring more, and building a better world together. So I so appreciate everyone, especially my amazing team that's here on Zoom, probably eating the nachos that we got for this celebration behind the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to some friends of our Dental Nachos world who have been here with us. I would love for Jamie, my friend, marketing expert, sponsor of the group, to start their video. So Jamie, welcome to our 50,000th member celebration. Did I do a good job guilt tripping there people into buying the Supreme? Did you feel like I did a good job?
I'm pretty sure you've taken some lessons from some experienced guilters in that.
Yeah,
so not bad. Not bad.
My grandmother Baba was a very good guilter. Baba was a top quality guilter. If she was here, she would get it. So yes, if I've helped you, I would love for you to help me today. So Jamie, I love what you do in our Dental Nachos world as a friend, as a marketing sponsor, as a supporter. But I'd like to ask you, because you don't get a chance, you heard of Dental Nachos from your friend, Dr. Matt Bickle, tag Matt Bickle. He said, check out this group. So tell us a little bit about your journey from way before the pandemic. That what's happened since Dental Nachos started? A whole pandemic has started. I've had a whole additional moderator. We have Tilly from Philly. So tell us a little about your experience in the Dental Nachos world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my good friend, Dr. Matt, he was wearing this crazy shirt that said Dental Nachos, and everybody was giving him a hard time about it. But he had just recently, you and he had met maybe at maybe a year or so before that. He was learning how to do implants.
Yeah,
He's learning how to take his implant game up a notch, and so he started wearing this shirt around. So I kind of heard about it, but one day he and I were going over his marketing, and I was working on fixing something that he'd had an issue with, and he said, you know, a lot of other dentists have problems that are like this. And so I didn't know a lot of other dentists. I knew him, and he said, I should put you in touch with this guy, Paul Goodman. So a few days later, I know he reached out to you, and a few days later, I'm talking to you on your way home from the hospital with your second moderator.
Always
Brand
time
new
for a
second
conversation.
moderator.
Yeah. 2018, August 2018.
That's right. That's my introduction to Dr. Nacho. And it was rather comical. You were on the way home from the hospital, but you were making use of your time as you always do. And so you had invited me to come to one of the events that you had maybe 3 or 4 weeks after that. And I said yes. And next thing I know, I've got dental clients, and you and I, you know, we've had a lot of conversations around things, but that's been the journey. And throughout all of Dental Nachos, just been blessed to be part of this community. Really appreciate positivity. I appreciate being able to, you know, be able to come into the group, share comments, just help people whenever is necessary, and have the opportunity to even work with some of them.
Hey, I really appreciate that, Jamie. Relationships are magical. We appreciate you supporting the group as a sponsor. I describe what we do a lot like Rittenhouse Square Park, where I do my videos, where it's a free park. And then on the weekends, Jamie, they sell IPAs, they sell bagels, they sell flowers. And just like the sponsors in our community, they pay so we can do what we do. You know, we have 10 people. We start off with one guy, me, and we have 10 people working at Dental Nachos. Because of you, we should cue that song. People have jobs working for the thoughts in my head. They're lucky them. And we also are able to do so many things for the dental universe out there. I just think of some of your relationships, whether it's Jeff Goodman, my brother, Dr. Maggie from Boost Camp. I know you're working with Dr. Todd Fleischman. You know, tell dentists for a minute, you know, dentists are in their offices doing amazing work, but they're not always paying attention to sharing their story with others. And marketing shares their stories with others. Mm-hmm. What have been some of the transformations of your clients, whether a Nacho client or not, and their aha moment? I still want aha to sponsor us, Jamie. Their aha moment, and how marketing is truly magical.
So marketing is at its essence, it's telling your story to the people that are interested, and that will take some sort of an action because of that story. I mean, if we're going to boil it down to that. So all of the dental practices that we work with, you've got a great story to tell. You help people. You help them, whether they're in pain, whether they want to prevent being in pain, whether they want to increase just some confidence, the way that they look, whatever the issue is, you have that skill set. And it's an amazing skill set. And the number of people that have their lives transformed, it's just an awesome thing to be able to see that. And so the challenge is that a lot of dentists don't know how to tell their story in a way that is meaningful to the people that want to hear it. Yeah. And so what we like to try and do is we try and build this solid marketing foundation, make sure you've got a very solid digital footprint to build off of. And then from that, it's talking about the services that you do. But we really like to make it so that it's not just the dentist saying, this is what I do, this is the service I offer. We really like to have your patients tell your story.
Right.
We like to have it that, you know, we'll call them the regular people that can be identified by future patients, to tell the story of how amazing it is. Patient testimonials are huge. Quotes from patients are awesome. Even just using those connections on social media to have your current patients refer new patients to you through social media. So it's great to be able to do that. It's also very important to do that authentically. And that requires you to have photos of the practice. It requires you to know have a plan in place. Doctors are so great at coming up with these clinical systems. it's this additional piece that marketing requires, where you're giving us content, photos of what's going on, birthdays, anniversaries. I mean, Paul, I know that you do a fantastic job of celebrating what's going on in your offices, but that's not the norm. Most practices just don't think about adding that in. And so that's an important part of
And
telling
your
the story.
patients want to know, the patients want to see you not only as
Yeah.
professionals, but also as people. So you've inspired us to do that more, working with us. Jamie, I so appreciate all you do. If someone's
Thank you.
watching this live or on demand and someone wants to do a chat with you, I always tell people, JFO, just find out and do these consult calls. You will learn something, even if you're not ready to move forward. I tell people that about implants. You'll learn something about me sitting there and telling you about implants, even if you're not ready to move forward now. How could people reach out to you to do that?
Best way to reach out to me is to set up an initial consultation at going to my website, Dental Marketing from Day One.
Awesome, Jamie. Well, thanks so much for doing what you do with us. We'll see you at the next Nacho event, and truly
You got
appreciate
it. Thank you.
So that is one of our first friends. We're going to bring up Richard William May from Mango when the team is ready to bring him up. But first, Richard, I'm not above guilting people. If Dental Nachos has helped you, please text Supreme to 215-543-6454. You will save $143 in honor of our 50,000th member celebration. It is an unlimited on-demand seat platform. You can keep your video on, Richard. I can guilt while you're on video. That doesn't distract me at all. So we're going to talk with Richard here in a second, but please, I would love for you to support what we do with the Dental Nachos Supreme. So one of our most fun sponsors who just sent us cookies. Richard, I lost your video, but you can pop back on when you are ready to pop back on, or my team can tell me if we lost Richard somehow here. If anybody wants to bring up another special guest, they're welcome to. I will remind people here that in addition to our on-demand CE platform, we also have a student deal. Text new grad to 215-543-6454. And we also do our Dentist Job Connect World. If you're looking for a job, job's fairly important to being able to practice dentistry. Pretty much the most important thing. Text hire to 215-798-9897. So Richard, you made everybody happy. You guys sent us cookies today. Thanks so much for doing that. You're an amazing sponsor with Mango. I remember when you came here for the first time a couple of years ago to Nacho headquarters. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the Dental Nachos universe, virtually, online. Online, in person. You do so many fun things on the group. We'd love to learn.
Yeah, no. So far, this experience with Dental Nachos has been life-changing for me because
Awesome.
Mango Voice is based out of Southern Utah, kind of a smaller town. And when we joined Dental Nachos and we started working with you guys, it was like, hey, Rich, we're going to send you out to Philadelphia. And I'd never been to Philadelphia before. So it kind of opened up my small town country eyes to like this bigger world and being able to be in a walking city and move around Philadelphia. And I've been there multiple times now for Dental Nachos events. And they're some of my favorite things to go to, like Rittenhouse Square, the Park Restaurant, like cheesesteaks. I'm enthralled. And to be in a sports town too, where you actually have real fans, like just
and even last time event, I gave you that tip about the beer garden. You like that too. So
that place was awesome. Like I'm a history buff, so I went to the Liberty Bell twice in one event, and everyone was like, "Rich, why do you always want to go there?" And I was like, "Because we're here, like we're on the other side of the country, and let's go embrace all of it." And
I would say it's your patriotic duty. We're having our Dr. Jason Smithson event, April 3rd to 6th. Please drop in there. It's your patriotic duty to come. And it's awesome. You're walking where, the Revolutionary War was. You're literally walking on the same streets where all of that happened. Fun, food, and friends, yes. Philadelphia. Now, Mango, we have become, you're an awesome sponsor. We use you in our office. Just kind of highlight for anyone out there who's like, I got old school phones. I want to try Mango. It was a process to get Kate. You're going to see Kate at Boost Camp. Kate, our office manager, now loves Mango, but it was a process to get her to switch. Tell us a little bit about what Mango does for dentists and their offices.
Yeah, so the Mango Voice, we're cloud-based phone system, right? Which means, you're using your internet to run your phone system now. And a lot of people get kind of nervous about what that looks like because if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But the features and functionality that come with Mango Voice, what it can do for your practice, because it's all about like saving you money and eliminating stress, right? And if you can come in and know that your phones are going to work properly for you and actually create more revenue for you, why wouldn't you want to learn more about that or get that in your office? And that's that's what we're always trying to do at Mango is how do we enhance the practice experience so that practice owners can get more money and not have to worry about their phones going down
Yeah.
or do I have an extra line? What happens if a third caller calls in? Is it a busy tone? We eliminate all those things and we make sure that the uptime is great. We have a wonderful support team. Our product is incomparable to the competitors out there as far as how we take care of the practice owner. Because you won't see our competitors at other trade shows. You won't see them,
Yeah.
at the Dental Nachos events. Like you're going to see us there, and we're going to make sure that you guys are getting taken care of.
But you bring the fun. You guys also tell me. I'm going to share it on Facebook. But you wanted to create a deal in honor of this 50,000 members. Well, before you do that, Lindsay reminded us that you went to Park not once but twice. So as many times as you visit the Liberty Bell, you also go to that amazing French restaurant. Tell us about this deal you guys have in honor of our 50,000 members. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, just in celebration of 50,000 followers, which is amazing. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Mango wanted to do special pricing. We're calling it Paul Goodman pricing.
Oh, I like it.
For the first 10 callers that call in to Mango Voice, call our sales line, and we will give you preferred pricing. That's a Paul Goodman special, right? A nacho
I
deal.
like that. What's the
unbeatable.
best number for them to call in? My team will put that in the Facebook Live while we're talking.
Yeah, so I have that number right here. Let me just say
Sure.
435-900-1101.
Nice. I like that. Good number. We'll put that in there.
Simple.
Now, you were really, you have embraced our community. You've shown pictures of yourself skiing, show pictures of yourself working out, show a picture of Mango. For the Richard William May as Mango, but the person, how has JB Wine, which I call Just Be Yourself, how has that helped you as a person and professional, whether it's friends you meet at trade shows, whether it's DMs? I mean, you are one of the top interactors in our universe. And if someone's saying, oh, I'm afraid to post online, or I don't want to make a comment, what has the impact and benefit been on you as a person and also a Mango professional?
Yeah, the coolest thing about that is that so I come into this space. I'm not a doctor, and I feel like, man, I don't hold a candle to these guys. They're intelligent. They went to school for this. They're artists, right? And I can't do what they do. And so when they're talking and interacting, I feel like, man, I'm not, in the same wheelhouse as these people at all. And then I start to say, but I like to ski and I like to, fish. I like to hike. I like to go to the gym and work out. It's like, oh, these guys are all actually just like me. We have so much in common, actually, and we can find common ground on so many other things. And so by sharing that, hey, I like the outdoors and I like to ski and I like to hike, it's like, oh, there's other dentists that like to do this too. And we've shared our favorite mountains, we've shared our favorite workouts, we've shared favorite places to visit and vacation, and even how to fun ideas, date nights for your spouse. And it's like, we're all just people.
I mean, the most popular post, which dog do you have? What movie? One idea. What movie do you stop on when it's on TV? Right. We have a whole thing of JBY, just be yourself. I share this. If my team should put this in the chat, in the comments. I did the nacho plate of Paul Goodman with Rob Montgomery when I started this. Right, he interviewed me on how did you start this, and the whole concept was bring your normal person self first, your weird dentisting self second. And you heard me say this, like, I went to school to be professionally weird, dental school, Richard, and you voluntarily signed up to work with us. So maybe you guys are the weirdest ones of all. And I say that in the most loving way. Well, I so appreciate all you do. I know we'll see you coming up in August. I'm going to see you at these events coming up in San Antonio and Colorado.
That's right.
I thank so much. Guac gratitude, which is the highest level of thanks for doing what you do.
No, thank you, Paul. We're just grateful to be part of what you do, and thank you for allowing Mango to continue to have a presence with your group.
So appreciate that. Thanks so much, Richard. So as you guys can see, we have friends coming up. We have special guests next. We can take Richard and let him get back to Mango World. Thanks, Richard. And we can bring up the moderators, Mrs. Nacho and maybe Tilly. You guys can start your video when you guys are ready to. I saw you guys come in from the side. While you are waiting to see the moderators and Mrs. Nacho, I want to remind you guys can unmute yourself. There is Daphne, the moderator. So we're celebrating 50 members here. Daphne, when someone asks you, what does your dad do at Dental Nachos? What do you say?
He helped dentists with stuff, and he talks with other dentists.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. How many videos have you done on the way to school and at parks and everywhere for Dental Nachos?
A lot.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being the moderator. And when our motto is what? Just be what?
Kind.
Just be kind to each other. Drew, what are we celebrating? You know, there's cookies at the office here. Should we bring some home for you?
50K.
50K.
Awesome. Where's Tilly? You don't have to bring her out. Well, you guys, the whole the moderators and Mrs. Nacho have made this such an amazing community. You bring the fun. I want to thank you for letting me share your faces so often with our community. What is some of the things that you've learned doing videos, Daphne? Has it helped you in anything that you love to do? Memorizing stuff? How's it helped you?
Yeah, it helped because you tell me to say this stuff and then I have to memorize it. So it helps memorize stuff too.
Because we always say, be proud of yourself, celebrate your SOA sense of accomplishments. What did you do this past winter? What did you get to do?
I got to.
No, what did you star in?
Oh, I started in Frozen Junior and I got young Elsa.
How was that experience?
It was great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. Mrs. Nacho, I know it was your dream to be named after an appetizer. Where'd she go?
Right here.
Any message you'd like to share with our Nacho community? I so appreciate you guys Zoom bombing us.
No, we're so glad to have you in our community. Thanks for being with us.
Awesome. And can you ask Drew to just yell from the back, buy the Dental Nacho Supreme? We'd appreciate that. Or you could say, please buy the Nacho Supreme if you love dental nachos. Daph, you say first for us.
Please buy the Dental Nachos team if you work at Dental Nachos.
No, say please buy the Dental Nacho Supreme if you want to support Dental Nachos. This is something behind.
Please buy the Nachos Supreme if you want to work at Dental Nachos.
Good, but you say please support us by buying it.
Please support us by buying it.
Perfect. That is the guilt trip economy at work there. Love you guys. Thanks so much for jumping on with us.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So the next special guest, if we don't have Jim yet, Brandon can undo his video if he would like. I don't know if Mary's still watching in for this story, if he's in the background there. While we're waiting for Brandon, I wanted to share with you how you can buy the Dental Nacho Supreme. It's one of Brandon's passions too. He's got the shirt on. It's his favorite nacho shirt. Text Supreme to 215-543-6454 to support us and get our best deal. So Brandon, tell everyone how you came to work at a company named after an appetizer.
I saw an ad and I didn't think I really even wanted another job, but I just wanted to know what Dental Nachos was. So I replied to it.
And you came in to interview, and we said, we need someone to help us grow. We need someone to help us sell things. And you said, that is up my alley.
I think that's exactly what I do.
And now you have become totally infected by the dental world, right?
Okay.
Totally infected. So as someone who's an awesome sports fan, dad, connector, tell everyone a little bit about your experience, not only just working in the Dental Nachos community and working with us, but also the value of the people that you've met along the way.
Well, the interesting thing is, because this is a group about dentistry and dentists, we've, been able to kind of attract a diverse group of human beings, even outside of the actual operatory that are involved in dentistry. So it's like really, it's majority dentists, but it also has all the other stakeholders in dentistry in it as well from a professional standpoint. And they're very diverse people. They think differently. So I've met awesome people. I've met awesome dentists. I've met people who might be a little bit weird, but that's okay because I'm a little bit weird. Like you said, Paul, anyone who signs up voluntarily and work with dentists and around them all the time is definitely the weird one. But I've met so many different types of people. And my favorite thing to do is meet people, learn things from them, share my knowledge. I've been able to grow as a human being and as a business person from being in Dental Nachos. And I think I've been able to help reciprocate that with the people that I've encountered. So I don't know. I hope that's a good.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. I really appreciate that. I always think it's really super interesting when people outside the space. Now Vivek Keenra is one of our sponsors, PPO Profits. In the beginning of Dental Nachos, him and I would actually argue because he said dentists shouldn't complain. They make six figures. Why are they complaining? And now, yada, yada, after working with his amazing wife, who's more amazing than Vivek, and running that practice, he says, wow, it's a lot tougher to be a dentist than I ever thought. And you do not have to reveal any of your healthcare information if you want as a patient, Brandon, but I will just, you can if you want to, but I want to say, when you sit in a dental chair now, if someone was scrolling by, why should they have a little sympathy for the dentist? Why is it not just this person working in air conditioning saying your teeth look great? What have you seen from the business, the stress, the team that might make you think differently if you're laying back in the chair at the people working there?
Well, I wasn't completely ignorant to the drama of dentistry because just working in different parts of the business world and understanding what small business is about, growing up with a father who has a small business and being around small business owners, I know how crazy of a circus any small business can be.
Yeah.
And then when you add to the fact that it's some type of healthcare business and the seriousness of that and the stakes that are so high with who your customer is, because you actually have their health in your hands, I kind of wasn't oblivious to how crazy it could be. But then working with dentists, building friendships with people who are dentists and other people, hygienists and other people in the dental world, I've gotten to hear stories and see things that I never thought I'd see and see kind of like behind the curtain. So yeah, when I go to the dentist now, I've never been mean to a dentist, but I'm very mindful of what's going on. Like I sit in a waiting room and I'm like watching every little thing. Like I know who's stressed out at the front desk. I know, who's got an issue with a patient, you know what I mean? Or I know when a hygienist is waiting for an exam. I see everything now as a patient that I never would have seen before.
And you probably share, you're a really know a lot about business. Someone was going to buy a practice, you work with transitions. It's overwhelming the number of vendors they have to deal with, right? I mean, for a small business with our sponsors, how many would you say to own a practice they need to connect with? 20, 30, right?
I don't know if there's a number. I think it has to just be something you have to be offensive instead of defensive with and get ahead of. I think you got to really just embrace the fact that you're running a business that has so many tools, resources, and ideas that can make it better. And instead of being reactive, saying, man, here's another sales rep coming, here's another call, kind of structure your business week in a way where you devote time to that, researching that, speaking to people who are involved in those things, and just getting ahead of it. That way when that rep kind of cold calls you, you already know a little something about what they're selling or what they're about to say anyway. And now you kind of take the control of the situation back.
I like that. We both love food, Brandon. I don't want to say I was jealous that you got to take your children to a fancy restaurant they appreciated for your birthday, because I don't want my time to go by too fast. But I thought it was nice that you had adult-ish children, not adults, that could appreciate that. You help people buy dental practices, the biggest decision of their lives. In doing that, what is something that you would tell our audience they should really make sure they pay attention to in buying what is likely the only practice they're ever going to buy?
Whew, there's a lot of ways I can answer that question, but what I would say is the way you approach it is that you have to love the idea of being an entrepreneur as much as you love dentistry.
Very good point.
And because naturally, I know a lot of dentists. Like I said, some of my best friends now are dentists, and I know some that kind of really geek out and get really excited over learning something new on the clinical side. You don't have to prod them or press them to do it. If they tell you they have no money, all of a sudden you see they're going to another clinical CE course. You're like, really? I thought you were broke. But they don't have that same energy when it comes to things that are going to help them with practice management, business, finance, leadership, team building, people skills, communication skills. So I would say all the things that you need to be good at, sales skills, of course, all the things that you need to be good at as an entrepreneur, you need to really learn to love that as much as you love dentistry. And I don't think enough dentists naturally feel that way, and they should.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I never had it phrased that way, and it's really valuable because, the entrepreneur and that entrepreneurial nature of dentistry, if you're not ready for it and you don't like it, can really be destructive to your morale. So find out, like we say, JFO, just find out first. Well, thanks, Brandon, for jumping on here. We do one more guest. Really appreciate you sharing with us.
No
so
problem.
We are at our 50,000 members, and we have as our last friendly guest, unless someone Zoom bombs me before that for this, the awesome Jim Cashmar. We're going to ask him about his experience with Dental Nachos. But I just want you to know, tell me, is this a good guilt trip, Jim? If Dental Nachos has ever helped you, if you've been scrolling through your phone and for free, Dental Nachos has answered a question for you. If you have a friend out there because of Dental Nachos, if it makes you feel less alone, cry less inside, we would love your support today. Text Supreme to 215-543-6454, and you'll save $143. A nod to Mr. Rogers, his favorite number, I love you, 143, on the Dental Nacho Supreme. We would love your support today if we have supported you in any way. Out of 10, Jim, how's that guilt trip?
Oh, that's good. And by the way, I think I'm kind of blinded by the light here. Amanda sent me this on my phone, so I couldn't do it on my computer.
No worries,
so
we can still hear you.
How's that?
Yeah, we can still hear you and see you there. So, Jim, you help dentists protect their biggest asset, which is them, by selling disability insurance, by getting them the policies they need to protect themselves. Before we get into your sponsor role here, you have been one of the best contributors in person, online, sharing the fun, taking people out to dinner. What has Dental Nachos done for Jim the person before we get into Jim the professional?
Thanks for asking that, because at this moment, yes, I'm happy to help people with the thing we just talked about, but this is not about any of that today. This is about celebrating you and Dental Nachos and 50,000. And to me, it's about the friendships and relationships I built. I mean, this is a prime example. This is one of my friends that I've developed here at Dental Nachos. Do you recognize this guy?
Who is that? I don't see it.
Can you see
it? Yeah. Dr. VC.
You got it. So
Yeah.
I didn't kidnap him. My friends, Tom and Vanessa and the whole crew, they told me where they got him. So I ordered a couple for my kids online, but that's a little secret. Yeah. So I've just developed some nice friendships over the years. And I can't believe it's already been, I found you, Paul, when you were just, a fledgling 9,000 members, as you recall, those days. So
I used to think there was a lot of complaints then. I should go back to those times, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is amazing, Jim. I would like to use this moment to give a public service announcement to everyone who does free things. Stop complaining about free things. Let me explain. If you go to Costco and they offer you free cheese and you love Gouda and they offer you cheddar, don't throw it back at them and say, how dare you offer me what I don't like? Just be a normal person and say no thanks, or take it and throw it away later. So, Jim, you've seen dentists. They have a spectacular ability to complain about free things. So that is my public service announcement. Now back to you. We're in the same age range, right? I would say we're in the same age range, right?
You're a young man to me, Paul, but that's okay.
But we didn't grow up with social media. We didn't grow up with things on our phone. And talk to the 40 to 60-year-olds out there. Whether it's professional in terms of sharing their company as a sponsor, like you guys do, share what Jim does in the comments. He helps people with disability insurance. Whether it's a practice owner trying to maybe meet someone to buy their practice, or maybe it's just feeling less alone. Why would you inspire someone above the age of 40 to not say, social media is for young people, I don't need it? What can it do for them?
Oh, my goodness. You cannot connect with people around the country, unless you're doing this social media thing. So it kind of all started with me. I was just a regular generalist in the insurance world. And then UNE opened their doors here in Portland, Maine. And I connected with Tyler DeStefano, my business partner, and someone you know well as well. He just bought a new Tesla today, by the way. So he says hello, but he's out not driving.
I think gotcha. Yeah, that's it.
But anyway, so we get to know Dental Nachos, and the next thing you know, we went from a regional firm, because we saw people face to face, to now we do a lot of this, virtual stuff. In fact, I was just talking with someone I met through you. The reason I'm kind of late to the party here is I was doing an educational meeting with someone out west, and 2,000 miles from my home, and that just couldn't happen if it weren't for the social media. And you, frankly.
And while what you do is you represent what frustrates me about our dental school experience, because dentists spend 4 years of their lives, students, and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they do not say, hey, you better leave school with a disability policy because there's a dentist, true story, that can't pay her rent because she's disabled and will never practice dentistry again. And people like Jim and Tyler and Doctors Disability Insurance can help you as sponsors. We'll share how you can do that. Text disability to 215-798-9897. And Jim, in this, I'm a big both and, not an or but, both and like Gary V. When you wear the Nacho shirt, much like this Sixer jersey, okay? Much like just last night, someone said they went to Penn State, and I go, my wife went to Penn State. I think they like me better because those Penn State people, they're like it's like a friendly cult, those people, right? You mentioned you went to Penn State, they go, oh, where? So when you wear this Nacho shirt, how does it like bond people to you or open up to you, whether it's at an event, whether it's some lady at the store? Tell us a little bit about how that helps.
Oh, it brings smiles. I mean, people ask you, what is this dental nachos? And you to explain the analogy of it all. So I think you were brilliant when you first came up with this concept. So we're not so smart. We just came up with DDS.
I mean, Mary deserves really a lot of the most brilliance. But what I share is, when that lady stopped me on the street and said, hey, you, and I turned around, she said, what's dental nachos? I said, it's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. It's like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood for dentists, because dentists are nice to patients, but aren't good at being nice to each other. We teach them about business. He said, I really like that, right? So I think when you have a story that you can tell people that talks about people supporting each other, and also, dental nachos, it's not all just for unicorns and rainbows. There's friction. We disagree and strive to do it with respect. Doesn't happen all the time. But people go, is dental nachos like a family? Like, yeah, we fight on vacation 3 days in and wonder why we did this together, right? So, that's part of this fun. And maybe as we kind of wrap up, Jim, you do a lot of work with dental students by the nature of what you do, right? And whether they buy your disability policy or someone else's, you want them to make good decisions starting out in their career. As someone who's been a teacher, someone in business, how do you think Dental Nachos and what we do helps dental students, right? Specifically, let's go with the dental students before they go out into the real world.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's very educational. It's they know where the resources are. They know where people that do this dental specific thing, whether it be around financial or legal or coaching or whatever it is. So it's a really nice resource. In fact, I just realized all this light behind me spilling in, it enlightens people.
I like that. Yeah. That's a great, I like, that's very Ted Lasso-esque. I like that. I'm going through season 3 right now. I know we're both big fans. You got me to believe thing. And I always said at the last meeting, I said, what we do is we want to make dental students aware, prepared, and responsibly scared. Because
I'm still here. Hold on. I'm getting something.
When you do a big thing out there, everyone, you want to be aware, you want to be prepared, and you want to be responsibly scared. If you're going to take out $600,000 in debt, know what that means. If you're, I love that. The believe sign. That is.
Is that backwards?
No, it's perfect. And one of the things, Jim, I get on Instagram a lot is, hey, Paul, I know sometimes people give you grief about the things that you share, but what it does is, I love that, is a belief sign. It gives me hope, Jim. And I think there's probably really nothing better than helping people feel less alone and giving them hope. And even us middle-agers here, it's a timeless feeling.
Oh, we're just getting started, Paul. We're just getting started.
Well, awesome, Jim. Well, thanks for doing what you do. I'm going to see you at Boost coming up. Appreciate you jumping on with us.
Love it.
Paul,
Congratulations,
we have
Paul.
one last guest coming.
Oh, one last guest. I appreciate it. This is great. Wow, surprise guest. Oh, wow. What a special guest. The first real employee of Dental Nachos. We cannot get her colleague because she's probably doing outfits on TikToks, her real dream.
I know.
Ariel Meredith, what a special thing to have happen. Ariel, I would love for you to share. Why did you work for a company named after an appetizer? You got to us through a true ABC, always be connecting a Lord Bernardo. But like Brandon, tell us your OG nacho experience.
I think at the time I was cleaning teeth and I knew that that wasn't my forever. And, you gave me a call, we chatted, and I just liked what you had to say. I think you were really passionate about what you were trying to do. And I don't know, sometimes I think I'm an easy sale, but you convinced me. I talked with some friends, they convinced me. And then I feel like once I met you and Mary, I knew that you guys were like good people and you had really good intentions. So that's why I ended up saying yes.
Awesome. And now maybe I've reached out and you really work. This is valuable. We'll get this on. What's it like to work for someone who's doing a startup, being one of the only 3 people there, running payroll to payroll, shifting gears all the time? A, maybe give people context of what that feels like if they want to do it. And B,
Yes.
now that you're past that, how has it helped you in what you're currently doing?
It was intense, definitely. Intense, but there also there was a lot of fun, I would say. I feel like I learned and grew so much professionally and like as an individual that first year and a half to 2 years, just because I think with startups, it takes like 2 to 3 years to really get the momentum going and become successful. So being able to see you guys with all your success now is like the real rewarding part.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we always had a lot of free snacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes remember Industrious was like the glass bowl.
Yeah. Right. We worked at a WeWork. We
Yeah.
were, and also
Yes.
I think what you do really a compliment to you, Ariel, for someone who's a hygienist. Hygienists go, okay, 9 o'clock, I have a prophy, 10 o'clock, I have a prophy, 11 o'clock, I have a prophy. And when you work for a startup, things change immediately. Something happens new. You might have to go somewhere. You develop a resiliency. You develop a mental flexibility. I mean, one time you said, hey, we're sorry, but you have a lecture at 6 p.m. Now it's 2 p.m.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay. What did that mental flexibility plus resiliency, how has that served you in what you're doing now with financial planning and helping dentists?
It's helped a lot. Honestly, being able to be mentally flexible from someone who I'm definitely a little OCD-esque and I'm a creature of habit. So it was great for me on a personal level, but it just makes you less annoyed throughout the day, knowing that things aren't always going to go as planned, and it's easy. It takes time, but once you get into the routine, it's easy to make the pivot. And usually the pivot is for the good. And even though you can't see it then, 99% of the time it is. So there's definitely been a lot of, oh, Paul, you were right.
Thanks. I appreciate it. We can get that again on video, right? I have a big test not guess. The other thing I want to ask you, I don't want to have too much of your time, but my amazing wife, Mary, you, similar. It's not really fair. I know it's probably not introversion versus extroversion, but you weren't always raising your hand to go to networking events when you kind of had to. So like I said to Todd Fleischman, gently guiding you out of your comfort zone, having you stand there and have to have awkward, uncomfortable conversations with people that you've never met. Maybe something you might not have done if you had just done hygiene your whole life. Totally. A younger person in any field, why is getting out of your comfort zone when someone's going to support you in doing it? How does that help you?
So that's a good question. Honestly, getting out of your comfort zone is just where you grow as an individual. I think that if you didn't kind of push us to network, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. And now I go to a networking event once a week. So I think younger people take the advice, go to networking events. Don't just go to specifically dental networking events. Go to business networking events. There's a lot of small business networking events in the Philadelphia area that I've been going to, and you just never know who you're going to meet. It could be a patient that changes your practice completely.
Yeah, I mean, that's such good advice. We always say Gary Vee, one tweak could change your life, and it's really, you just never know who you. And sometimes you go by yourself, and sometimes these things are such small.
I've been going by myself. You would be so proud.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, they're also small dosages. People are I have time. What else are you doing from 5 to 7 on Wednesday? I got that answer. Nothing. So I really so proud of what you have done, Ariel, with your financial planning. So grateful. Dental Nachos would not be here if you were not sitting at that table with me, being able to deal with me. I think there was some value that coming from the dental field, you kind of knew the intense nature of a dental office, and it was normal for things to be intense. If people are here, how can they learn more about what you do to help them now?
Yeah, sure. So they can honestly just give me a call. My phone number is 609-425-5284. My whole goal is to help small business owners just become, more financially free in their future, and also just help them have peace of mind about it. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in life, and just because we make a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean we know what to do with it. And I think there's a lot of shame that comes with that. And we just want to create a judgment-free environment for people to be able to connect with us about their worries. And I feel like I learned a lot when I worked with you on all the coaching calls.
Yeah.
Those were always interesting. That was probably my favorite thing. I feel like I learned so much. So just, be open to getting an outside perspective who's not emotionally invested in your current situation.
I absolutely love that. And also, just as you wrap up, it's also when you work with a company of any kind, and when they put you in front of great people like an Aldana Ambler, it's an education that's so priceless. So whatever company you're in, whether it's a dental company who puts you in front of CE or a coach, be really open-minded, because, probably when I brought in Aldana, you said, who is this lady who does this? And then yada, yada, she gives you kind of the tools to not only work with me, but also work in your professional life. So I think this constant growth is really key. So thanks, Ariel. I know it's your favorite season, beach season. So I hope you join the beach and come. We got a July 6th event at the beer garden. So hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. And congratulations on 50K. It's amazing.
Awesome.
I know it's also a headache, but
Maybe
hopefully more good than bad.
Maybe there'll be no refereeing for this one day. Everyone just be nice this one day. Thanks so much for jumping on. Nacho team, thanks for getting Ariel. That was so special. Well, as we wrap up, everyone, see you, Ariel. I really appreciate people taking the time to watch in. I appreciate my amazing Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect team, my family, my friends, all of you for doing this. We've created ways to hopefully make you feel better, dentists better, feel less alone. In my final kind guilt trip, if you text Supreme to 215-543-6454, I would so love if we have ever supported you supporting us in what we do. Thanks so much for being you, and I will see you on Facebook at an in-person event. Please go to dentalnachos.com to check out the next things we have going on.